Entry recorded on the eve of a forbidden ascent. Within the Green Feather Temple, the so-called Holy Infant, Qin Mu, stood at the threshold of knowledge no outsider was meant to touch. Under the watchful guidance of Divine King Langwo, 2 days of relentless visualization turned thought into weapon, illusion into reality. Snakes of will coiling through imagined worlds, divine arts colliding like stars on the brink of collapse. Yet beneath this fragile alliance, tensions simmered. A promise to restore Divine King Shu Jun clashed with Langwo's cold pragmatism, while a single fleeting gesture, a flower born of consciousness, hinted at something neither battle nor logic could contain. Now, as thousands of masters of creation ignite a grand offering, the sky itself splits open to reveal the Ancestor Spirit World, a place where the dead think, and the living are judged. Qin Mu steps forward, carrying secrets, debts, and a fate that may not belong to him alone. In Tales of Herding Gods, chapter 979-980, the gate has opened, but what awaits inside may not welcome the living. Once you withstand their trial, Divine King Langwo spoke, her tone calm, yet carrying the weight of an ancient Tao, you shall grasp the most profound knowledge and hold the mandate to lead our people. Qin Mu had only just steadied his heart from the unease of moments before. Yet upon hearing her words, the burden within him lightened at once. For these 2 days, you shall remain here, Divine King Langwo continued, her gaze deep as a still lake, and I shall personally guide you in the art of battling through visualization. Her voice lingered like drifting mist. Though 2 days are but a fleeting moment, with your insight, you should be able to comprehend the rudiments of visualization combat. If you can further fuse it with your own vital qi, that would be most ideal. Qin Mu's frame was thin as a reed, his body like a withered branch. He feared his essence, blood, and vital qi would fail to sustain such strain. Without hesitation, he retrieved the primordial liquid, flicking a single drop into his spirit embryo divine treasure. Instantly, his vital qi surged, and his consciousness brightened like a lamp newly fueled. Divine King Langwo's brows knit slightly as she observed. You are aiding Divine King Shu Jun in restoring his corporeal form. Qin Mu inclined his head in affirmation. Shu Jun has long passed his prime, she said coolly. His thoughts are rigid, his will unyielding. There is no need to preserve him. Her tone sharpened faintly. If you lack the resolve to slay him, I can act on your behalf. Refining him to death would be effortless. Within the origin stone, Shu Jun trembled with fury, his spirit blazing as he cursed her mercilessness, her utter disregard for kinship and lineage. Qin Mu shook his head slowly. I gave him my word, to restore his head. A promise once spoken must be fulfilled. Divine King, if I were a man who breaks his word, would you still entrust me with such faith? Divine King Langwo pondered, then shook her head in silence. A trace of color returned to Qin Mu's pale face. His consciousness stabilized, allowing him to once more wield his consciousness divine arts with clarity. Divine King Langwo raised her hand, her will circulating like a silent current. Before her, a rune began to take shape, faint at first, then gradually condensing into clarity, becoming vivid and real. Qin Mu mirrored her movements, guiding his mind to form the same rune. Her instruction was meticulous, each detail revealed without concealment. Qin Mu absorbed it swiftly. The foundational runes she imparted were already within his grasp, allowing him to master them with ease. At times, he even discerned the subtle flaws within her constructs, offering corrections that smoothed their imperfections. The masters of creation often transmitted their knowledge directly through consciousness, imprinting it upon their descendants. Yet such a method bore a hidden flaw. Errors made by predecessors were rarely questioned, let alone corrected. Divine King Langwo abandoned that ancient convenience. Instead, she chose the most direct and unrefined path, teaching Qin Mu face to face, word by word, form by form. She desired not only to instruct him, but also to have him refine her own shortcomings. In truth, while the masters of creation had dabbled in the study of basic runes, their understanding remained shallow. Having dwelled for countless eras within the Paramita world, and even longer within the Great Void, they had been severed from the outside world. Their knowledge of runes came only from fragments gleaned in secret from Carefree Village, leaving them inferior to Qin Mu in this regard. Yet when it came to the art of consciousness divine abilities, They far surpassed him. Though Divine King Lang Wo claimed to be the teacher, in truth, the two were exchanging knowledge, refining one another like opposing blades on the whetstone of Tao. Time slipped by unnoticed. In the blink of an eye, a full day had passed. By then, Qin Mu could summon any basic rune with a mere flicker of thought. His consciousness alone was sufficient to weave them into existence. More astonishingly, he discovered that when runes were infused with both consciousness and vital qi, their might surged several-fold beyond those relying on either alone. Within the Green Feather Temple, Divine King Lang Wo lifted her hand once more. A green serpent emerged from her visualization, its form elegant, its presence majestic. She stood atop its head, her robes fluttering like banners as the serpent lunged toward Qin Mu. Qin Mu responded in kind, manifesting a white serpent beneath his feet. He stood upon it as he unleashed a myriad of divine arts, weaving together the paths, skills, and techniques he had comprehended, enhancing their power through harmonious fusion. Their hands moved, and with each gesture, wonders unfolded. Heavenly blossoms rained from above. Stars descended like falling blades. With a shift of thought, celestial fire poured down, incinerating all in its path. Another flicker of consciousness summoned a storm of meteors, shaking the earth itself. They conjured gateways that contained entire worlds. Riding upon their serpents, they traversed these portals, drifting through realms of their own creation. Mountains, oceans, glaciers, and marshlands, appearing and vanishing without pattern. At last, the two colossal serpents intertwined, their bodies coiling around one another as they rose ever higher. Around them, countless visualized divine arts clashed, transforming into strange and wondrous forms that collided and annihilated endlessly. Qin Mu's techniques shifted without cease. He merged his visualization with the great Taos of ancient gods, blending them with post-celestial great Taos, multiplying his methods and confounding Divine King Lang Wo. As the serpents tightened their embrace, the distance between them shrank, and the clashes grew ever more ferocious. Soon they stood face to face. The entwined serpents resembled twin stars orbiting each other, their energies colliding in a storm of brilliance. Their strikes grew fiercer. Their divine arts became increasingly profound and unfathomable. Suddenly, within Qin Mu's palm, a flower bud took shape. It blossomed in an instant, crimson like burning embers, violet like twilight clouds, its beauty dazzling beyond compare. Petal upon petal unfurled outward. The stamens emerged, and a gentle fragrance drifted forth, filling the air. Divine King Lang Wo's gaze sharpened. She discerned a flaw and extended a finger, tapping Qin Mu's forehead. Her consciousness surged forward, invading his body. At that very moment, the blooming flower was presented before her. Qin Mu smiled softly. "This is for you." Divine King Lang Wo froze. She withdrew her finger and her consciousness, her expression returning to calm. "This was a contest. I sought to test your cultivation after these 2 days. Yet your mind wandered. You disappoint me." She accepted the flower from his hand, turned away, and gently inhaled its fragrance. It was soothing, like a quiet stream beneath moonlight. A faint smile touched her lips. Stepping down barefoot from the green serpent's head, she said softly, "Do not do this again. Come with me quickly. The grand offering is about to begin." Qin Mu hastily leapt down from the white serpent and followed. Behind them, the two serpents remained entwined, unwilling to part, slithering into the forest beyond the temple with their necks bound together. Qin Mu arrived at the pool of primordial liquid. Producing several jade bottles, he began to collect it. Divine King Lang Wo glanced over and shook her head lightly. "Your vessels are too small. How much can they hold? I sense within you the aura of the bottle of flask world of the hidden mountain tribe. Use it." Qin Mu retrieved the bottle of flask world given to him by the tribal chief. Within it lay a boundless expanse, vast enough to contain not merely a pool, but an entire firmament of stars. Divine King Lang Wo flicked her sleeve. Instantly, 1/10 of the pool shrank away, its primordial liquid flowing like a river of light into the bottle. "This much?" Qin Mu's heart trembled. He had intended only to take a few bottles, yet she had granted him a full 10th of the pool. "You should depart first," Divine King Lang Wo said, casting him a glance. "I will follow shortly to preside over the grand offering." Qin Mu nodded and exited the temple. Only after he had gone far did Divine King Lang Wo return to the pool. With a gentle motion, she cast the flower into its depths. She watched as it floated, took root, and began to grow, nourished by the primordial essence. A warm smile blossomed upon her face. A flower born of visualization fades swiftly, but planted here, nourished endlessly, it shall bloom without end. Qin Mu stepped outside and beheld a grand spectacle. The various clan chiefs had already erected sacrificial altars. Surrounding them were hundreds of masters of creation, their brows aglow, their consciousness gathered and focused upon the altar's center. There, their collective worship condensed into a luminous liquid, rippling like a tide of light. Beams shot skyward from each altar. There were thousands, 3,000 to 5,000 at least. Their lights pierced the void, shaking it, staining the heavens crimson. Only a handful remained behind to guard against Carefree Village. All others had assembled here for this monumental rite. Qin Mu had never imagined he would open the Ancestor Spirit World amid such a vast and awe-inspiring scene. Turning back, he saw it, rising behind the temple, a colossal hexagonal eye. It ascended from the void, summoned by the offering. It grew larger, climbing ever higher. This world had been formed from the fusion of the Grand Primordium Origin Stone and the remains of fallen masters of creation. Hidden within the void, it revealed itself only when called. When a master of creation perished, their kin would feel the summoning of this world, drawing them into its embrace, where their consciousness would merge with the flow, preserved eternally as silent guardians of the Paramita world. Qin Mu steadied his mind and searched for Qin Mu, the Zili clan chief. At last he found her, leading her people in the offering, striving to draw the Ancestor Spirit World forth. He flew toward her, hovering before the gathered masters. Smiling, he called out, "Chief, I've obtained the liquid." Qin Mu's consciousness flickered, her voice weary. "Why have you come? The offering nears completion. Return at once and prepare to enter the Ancestor Spirit World." Qin Mu replied with a grin, "I promised to bring you primordial liquid. Where is your sacred relic, the Seven Soul Grass?" "I cannot be distracted," she urged anxiously. "Summoning the Ancestor Spirit World is of utmost importance. Go back quickly. If the Divine King sees this, I will be punished." Qin Mu was about to speak further when a surge of consciousness enveloped him, lifting him away. In an instant, he was returned before the temple, standing beside Divine King Langwo. She had resumed her true form as a master of creation, majestic, awe-inspiring. Her gaze was fixed upon the Ancestor Spirit World, now towering high above. The hexagonal eye had grown immense, and within it faint scenes could be discerned. Countless waves of light surged within, formed from innumerable heads drifting endlessly, a sight both eerie and profound. A thunderous rumble echoed from the heavens. The Ancestor Spirit World ceased its ascent. The great eye stopped expanding. "It is done," Divine King Langwo said. She glanced at Qin Mu. "You may enter now. Shu Jun may not. He is not the Holy Infant and holds no right to step within. Divine King Shu Jun, come forth." The eye within Qin Mu's brow opened. From it, Shu Jun's massive head emerged, his long, tangled hair whipping wildly as he roared in anger. "Why is it that one who is not a master of creation may enter, while I, a divine king, am denied? What twisted logic is this?" Qin Mu soothed him. "Do not be angered. If I obtain the inheritance, I shall share it with you." Divine King Langwo shook her head. "He has no such privilege. The Divine King of the past is not the Divine King of the present. Moreover, our downfall is closely tied to him. Enough. Let us go." She grasped Qin Mu's arm, and together they soared upward, entering the Ancestor Spirit World. High above, the colossal hexagonal eye turned. As though gazing upon them, a beam of light descended, enveloping them both. In the next instant, Qin Mu and Divine King Langwo vanished from the Paramita world. Above the firmament, a colossal hexagonal eye hung suspended like a heavenly seal. It opened and closed with languid rhythm, leaving behind a slender vertical seam that stretched from the northern heavens to the southern horizon. It resembled the eye of a slumbering celestial maiden, its lashes trembling faintly as if stirred by dreams. From within the Ancestor Spirit World, radiant beams streamed forth like the eyelashes of an immortal beauty. Yet these lashes were not dark, but shimmered in countless hues, weaving a tapestry of prismatic brilliance across the void. Had Qin Mu stood beneath this spectacle, he would have been struck speechless with awe. Alas, he was not there. He had already stepped into the depths of the Ancestor Spirit World. Even he found it difficult to articulate the sensations that overwhelmed him at that moment. He stood upon the center of Divine King Langwo's palm, his figure adrift within a boundless ocean of luminous thoughts and consciousness. The sea resembled the pulsing currents of a vast celestial mind, waves of light rippling endlessly in all directions. They drifted through this ocean. At times he seemed to hear the long, majestic cry of an ancient Qin, echoing across immeasurable waters, yet its meaning remained beyond comprehension. In the next instant, towering mountains and mighty rivers surged past him like fleeting illusions. Then came the starry expanse, galaxies unfolding before his eyes, within which immense figures traversed the cosmos, striding between constellations as if crossing stepping stones. Worlds were born before him, vast, radiant spheres spinning into existence, their brilliance engulfing him as they rotated through the void. Moments later, those same worlds crumbled and perished. Their destruction was both terrifying and breathtaking, a beauty forged in annihilation. These were the memories of the ancestor spirits, the recollections of the masters of creation. Divine King Langwo guided him through these ancient consciousnesses, allowing him to witness fragments of their past. He heard grand and resounding voices. Some whispered softly within his mind, while others roared like endless battlefields, their thunder nearly shattering his senses. The clash of arms shook the heavens themselves. Amidst this chaos, he also heard strange and wondrous chants, as though countless beings had gathered for solemn rites, offering sacrifices to the heavens. Certain sounds carried profound insight into the natural order, revealing truths of heaven and earth. These, too, were fragments of memory, for memory was not composed solely of images. It also lived within sound. After an unknown passage of time, Divine King Langwo brought Qin Mu to the very core of the Ancestor Spirit World. There, he beheld them. Ancient existences who had offered their lives, merging their very essence with the grand primordium origin stone to forge this world. Their forms were vast, towering like giants that upheld the heavens themselves, standing amidst a crimson radiance that seemed to pulse with ancient power. There were 27 of them. They were the masters of creation who had endured the trials of the primordial age, leading the remnants of their race through countless perils to carve out the Paramita world. In every race, there were those who rose forth, offering their wisdom and lives for the greater good. The masters of creation were no exception. At the darkest hour, a group of unparalleled heroes bore the burden of resistance, waging war against the Grand Emperor. In the end, they sealed him within the supreme realm of consciousness. After that great battle, another group of heroes emerged. They guided the surviving clansmen fleeing pursuit and slaughter, crossing the vast desert to reach the edge of the great void. It was they who constructed the Void Bridge and the wondrous 3 houses, leading their people to open up the Paramita world. And when their strength was spent and death approached, it was they who sacrificed themselves, merging with the grand primordium origin stone to create this ancestor spirit world, continuing to guard their race even in death. Such beings must have possessed peerless talent, boundless intellect, and unmatched martial prowess. Only then could they have forged the miraculous Void Bridge and the 3 houses, even trapping Celestial Venerable Shu and Celestial Venerable Huo within. They are worthy of reverence. Qin Mu murmured, his heart filled with solemn respect. Divine King Langwo gently set him down. Her consciousness spread outward like ripples across a still lake, awakening the slumbering masters of creation and informing them of the matter of the Holy Infant. The 27 ancient beings stirred. Their obscure consciousnesses collided, intertwining as they exchanged thoughts. Qin Mu stood alone in the void, unease creeping into his heart. He began to wonder. If these ancient wills chose to strike him down, could Divine King Langwo truly stop them? Would they heed her words? At that moment, a majestic consciousness rippled outward, transforming into a voice that resounded throughout the Ancestor Spirit World. Instantly, Qin Mu felt countless gazes descend upon him, piercing through his being as though nothing could be concealed. An outsider has become the holy infant of our race. This is absurd. Yet prophecy does not arise from nothing. The ancestral consciousness did not decree that the holy infant must be one of the masters of creation. The voice continued. calm yet imposing. "Since the Divine King and our people have sent you here, you must possess something extraordinary." Another grand consciousness spoke. "The Holy Infant bears the wisdom of our race. He must not only face our enemies, but also lead us toward revival. We shall test you." Qin Mu inclined his head in acknowledgement. A heavy voice echoed. "A man named Qin Ye once came to the Paramita world. He sought only a small piece of land, yet seized nearly half of it to establish Carefree Village. For nearly 2,000 years, conflict has persisted. How will you eliminate Qin Ye and Carefree Village and restore peace?" Qin Mu replied calmly. "Peace can be achieved without eliminating Carefree Village." "Explain." "I am the 107th descendant of founding Emperor Qin Ye. As Holy Infant, I will mediate peace between both sides." At once, the 27 towering figures trembled. The entire Ancestor Spirit World shook violently as storms of consciousness erupted, sweeping across the void like raging tempests. Divine King Langwo frowned slightly. Qin Mu had revealed his identity too soon. "You are both an outsider and Qin Ye's descendant. Could you be a spy?" Another voice thundered. "You will explain. If unsatisfactory, we shall abandon the need for a holy infant." Qin Mu raised his head. "May I ask, what defines a master of creation? What is this race?" The ancient beings were momentarily stunned. "I possess the grand primordium origin stone. I can create from nothing. Does that not make me a master of creation?" A consciousness responded. "You may consider yourself one." "Then if I, an outsider, may join your race, why reject founding emperor and insist on destroying Carefree Village?" Qin Mu asked. "Our lands were seized. Our people were slain. The hatred runs deep," came the reply. Qin Mu said, "In the primordial era, your tribes slaughtered one another, annihilating entire clans. Compared to that, how does founding emperor's conduct measure?" Silence fell. "Worse, or no better," one admitted. Qin Mu continued, "Masters of creation were once ordinary men. Only after obtaining the grand primordium divine stone did they gain such power. Founding emperor sought merely a place for survival. He did not initiate conflict. Your people did, in reclaiming land, sparking endless war. Carefree Village likely suffered greater losses." "They are invaders," another voice retorted. "And recently, a monstrous infant slaughtered many of our people. Your argument is flawed. Langwo, create another holy infant." Terrifying waves of consciousness surged toward Qin Mu. He spoke sharply. "What if Carefree Village could grant life to the Great Void?" The waves halted. "That infant is my brother, Qin Fengcheng, son of Yudu, Lord of the Dead. He can establish order in the Great Void, allowing souls to pass into the afterlife. He can restore balance, eliminate monsters, and prevent collapse." He paused. "As more masters of creation perish, their consciousness scatters, hastening collapse. This is why you created this world, to contain it." "Am I wrong?" Silence answered him. "But the origin stone has limits. When exceeded, the Paramita world will collapse into another great void. The one you call enemy is the very one who can save you," he continued. "You gave founding emperor land. In return, his descendants offer a world without suffering." The ancestor spirits debated intensely. At last, one spoke. "Even if peace is achieved, enemies will still come." Qin Mu smiled. "Are you stronger now than 20,000 years ago?" They hesitated. "Stronger." "Isolation breeds decay," Qin Mu said. "Your retreat into the void led to ruin. Only through interaction can you grow. Carefree Village brings knowledge, advancement, and strength." His voice rang like a bell. "With but 1,000,000 of you, how long could you survive alone? The Paramita world is your refuge, but the Great Void is your window to the world." Silence fell once more. At last a voice spoke. "Holy Infant, what is your name?" "Qin Mu of Eternal Peace," he replied with a grin. "Also known as Celestial Venerable Mu of the Dragon Han Heavens." The spirits fell silent. "We have not heard of this," they said. Qin Mu's face darkened with embarrassment. Divine King Langwo turned away, suppressing a laugh. He muttered, "I am truly renowned." She chuckled softly. Then countless voices echoed as one. "Holy Infant, are you prepared to receive the 1,000,000,000 years of wisdom of our race?" Qin Mu's heart trembled. He steadied himself. "I am ready." The Ancestor Spirit World roared. Endless streams of consciousness transformed into torrents of light surging forth and engulfed him completely.